Hi, this is Tony Abadi from AtmosAir. In today's short video, we're going to review installation of our 500 series commercial line of product. In each carton you'll find the unit, a set of installation and operation instructions, the warranty card, the shielded commercial power cord, and then of course the required amount of bipolar ion tubes. As with all AtmosAir products, our units are best installed on the main supply duct of the air handling system. So in the case of this small air handler, that will be right here in the main discharge duct. Now in commercial applications there may be many other options to explore. It could be integrated into the air handler, it could be in a field branch of ducting, or many other options. And for those, you may want to consult AtmosAir and their engineering staff for more assistance. But as a general rule of thumb, always in the main supply duct of the air handling system, certainly always downstream of any filtration, because filters will block the flow of the ions and decrease the AtmosAir system performance. Now that you've marked out your location for installation, place a template on the duct and trace along the edges for the hole that you'll need to cut for access into the duct. Now it's time to install the tubes onto the 500 unit, and also I'd like to take this opportunity to familiarize you with the controls on the front of the unit. There's a latching connector for the main power cord that connects to the unit, an on-off switch that turns the main power to the unit on or off, the ion control knob that can increase or decrease the ion intensity, a fuse holder for a 1 amp glass fuse in our 500 series and a 1.6 amp glass fuse in our 508 series, red and green lights. The green light indicates that there's power going to the unit. The red light indicates that the ionization circuit is activated. And then there's this RS-232 port for a monitoring connection, which is an optional connection. And that would be by a DB9 connector through pins 1 and 5 that could send a signal out to a BMS system if monitoring capability is needed. Now it's time to install the bipolar tubes onto the unit. Each tube comes with this locking type nut on the end, so you'll want to take that off, set it aside. And the best way to do it is to work from bottom to top and from inside to outside. So just thread the tube on, bring it across, put the nut on the end lightly, and use a driver and just secure it down. Now you'll see I'm working with a hand driver and not with a drill driver or a drill, and that's important. It's very easy to over tighten these nuts and also the Phillips screws on the loop end and possibly damage the connection or the tube or the unit. So best to work with hand tools. Take a Phillips screwdriver, come down to the end where the loop is, and I'll just kind of slide this around so you can see it better. And then take your screwdriver and again tighten that down. Now, snug, not overly tight. The main purpose of this connection is just to make sure that this ring is making good contact with the outer screen of the tube. We don't want to tighten this down as far as it can go, because then you can wind up crushing the tube, or in the case of a glass tube, cracking the tube. So again, snug is all you need here. And now just proceed again installing the rest of the tubes. Bottom to top, inside to outside. So this is what your unit should look like with all the tubes installed in place. Again, the tubes are snug, not overly tightened, uniform, and connected at both ends. Now we can move on to physically mounting the unit. Now that you have your hole cut in the duct, you have your tubes mounted onto your unit, you're ready to physically mount the unit into the duct. Now when mounting a 500 series unit into the duct, it's always best to go parallel to the airflow. So as you can see in this unit, the airflow would come from the bottom and go up this ductwork in that fashion. So we want the airflow to run up along these tubes. Also, it's best to have the bullet nose end of the tube pointing into the airflow. That gets the best aerodynamics and the best ion stripping off the tubes and the best performance. That's not to say that if you have restrictions, you couldn't mount the unit perpendicular or with the back end of the unit facing the airflow. But again, this is the preferable way to do it, and you should always try to do it in that fashion. So take your driver and a self-tapping sheet metal screw. I use number 10 by 3/4 self-tapping sheet metal screws, and just begin driving them into the duct. Again, don't over tighten, just make sure that the screw is snugged up well to the duct and holding the unit firmly in place. Okay, in total there's 14 hole locations on the outer rim of the flange of the unit. It's important that you affix all the corners, these 2 holes at the top and bottom in the middle. But at each end there are 4 holes. Here it's only necessary to use 2 of the holes, and what I would do is use every other one. Reason for that being is someday down the road you should encounter a stripped hole because a screw had to be removed and replaced back in and stripped out the hole. You always have a fresh hole that you can go into and still have a good snug fit. So every other one along the side. Now that you have the unit mounted to the duct, you can connect it to power. Because it is a shielded type cable, it is typically connected to a junction box connection. Now, if your license or jurisdiction allows you to, you can make that termination into the junction box. Very simple, white to white, black to black, ground to ground. And again, just connect up, cover, you're done. Of course, don't attempt any electrical connections unless you're certain that your level of licensing or that your local jurisdiction permits you to do that. So now all that's left is to connect the latching power cord and turn the unit on. Set the ionization knob to where you need it to be. And that's it. Your unit's installed and operating. If you need some more assistance, you can always go to our website, www.atmosair.com, for more information on our products, and specifically the 500 series. These installation guidelines apply to our full 500 series, which includes our 500 EC, our 500 FC, and our 508 FC. If you need help, you can reach out to us in a number of ways. One is to call us at 1-888-MyAir11, and someone from our technical department will be glad to answer your questions and help you. Also, you can send us an email to techhelp@atmosair.com, and again, ask your questions and we'll be glad to answer them and give you any assistance we can. Thank you very much.